guys, it's Joe. Welcome back to the Cat Scrappiness YouTube channel. I'm back with another fall project for you. So in today's card, I'll be using the Crafter's Essentials Fall Dies set, and I will be using the fence, the tree, the moon, and the banner. This also comes with a scarecrow, pumpkin, and a cover plate. So next is the Stitched Waves Slimline die, and then next I have the newly released Zigzag Nesting Slimline dies. I'll be using the largest die. Next I have the Cross Stitch Nesting Slimline dies, and you can see the stitching is in the inside of the cut line. And here is the Thanksgiving Gnome stamp set. I'll be using the 2 gnomes and the pumpkins as well as the leaves, and lastly the orange jewels as embellishments. So I have a Copic video of the gnomes. I colored them with Copic markers. I didn't include it in this video, but I do have it in the previous video, and I'll link that video in the description box below. I will also try to compile all the colorings of that stamp, the Thanksgiving Gnome stamp set, and upload it to this YouTube channel, so it's all in one video and you guys can use it as a reference whenever you're using the stamp set. So here I'm coloring the 2 types of leaves included in the Thanksgiving Gnome stamp set, and I'm just basically using 2 colors. For the green I used YG93 and YG97, and then for the orange red I use YR04 and R08. So now I have the card base, and it's a cream cardstock, and then that is 3.5 by 8.5. Here is some craft cardstock that I edged with walnut stain distress oxide ink, and I'm just adhering it to the base of the card. That particular cardstock was cut at 3.25 by 8.25. So here I'm just trying to line it up in the center of the card base, and I don't do it exactly, so I fidget with it a little bit and finally get it centered. So then next here is some white cardstock that I cut with the cross stitch slimline nesting dies, and then here is the Stitched Waves slimline dies, and I used the second to the largest cross stitch die, and then I kind of lined up the hill die with that cross stitch die, and then I go ahead and cut it out so that it's nice and even with the white cardstock, so it also has that seamless cross stitched detail so that it is continuous throughout that back panel. So now I have some teal cardstock, and I use the Zigzag slimline die as the frame. So I go ahead and adhere it to the base of the card using that zigzag frame as my guide, and then next I go ahead and use some liquid adhesive to adhere the teal cardstock to the base of the card. So that is the base of the card, and then now I'm going to work on the little scene there. So here is the tree die that came in the Crafter's Essentials Falls die set, and to get that wood grain texture I have walnut stain distress ink, and I just go ahead, lay my die cut on some scratch paper, and then I just drag that ink in one direction to get that grainy effect, which is just basically streaks from the ink pad. So that's how I got that texture on the tree, and then I glue it to the card with some liquid adhesive. I pretty much use liquid adhesive for the rest of the images. So I put it on the left side of the card. Here is the sentiment Happy Gnomes-Giving that I used in the stamp set, and that banner die there is from, again, the Crafter's Essentials Falls set, and I place that on top of the tree. And then next here are the pumpkins that I colored, and then I'm going to use liquid glue and then stack all 3 one on top of each other, so it kind of looks like a pumpkin totem pole on the left side of that tree branch right there. So then next, here are the two gnomes that I colored and fussy cut. They're going to go on the right side of the card, and that is the fence die cut from the Falls die set, and I did the exact same technique that I used on that tree on the fence, so it gives that wood grain texture. So then I hear the girl gnome and the guy gnome with liquid adhesive, and I layered their hands so that it looks like they're holding each other's hands. And then I just get one more pumpkin and adhere that to the corner there, and then here is one of the green leaves that I put behind the pumpkin. So this little moon die is from that Crafters Essentials fall set, and I inked it up with fossilized amber and fire brick distress oxide ink, and then I just put the round part showing on the top and tuck in the moon corners behind the hill, so it kind of looks like what is that, a sun, like a sunset. So I just decided to use that die to give that effect. And then here are the leaves that I colored. There's the green and then the orange leaves, and I'm just randomly placing them on the tree branch with liquid adhesive, and I don't fill it up all the way, so some of the branches are still showing. And then that pretty much completes the card, and the last part is adding the embellishments. So I have the orange jewels that I used in the previous card, and I'm using it again here because I think it just works perfectly with the color scheme of my card. So I put 3 on the top right corner and 3 on the left hand corner there, and then I take 3 more of the medium size and I put it at the end of the Happy Gnomes-Giving banner there, right after that sentiment. And as I'm looking at the card, the beginning of the sentiment, there's still a space there that's empty. So then later, or now, I decide to get another one of those leaves, and I colored it green using YG93 and YG97, and then I go ahead and fussy cut that out. In the coloring video, you see that I actually color the stems of the leaves. Later on, I do decide to just go ahead and cut those leaf stems out because they're just too thin to fussy cut without it getting ripped or bent. So I go ahead and just cut that out, and so it's just a leaf by itself, and then I tuck that right behind the large pumpkin, and that completes the card. So I hope you guys enjoyed these videos that I put out yesterday and today. So take a look at all the links in the description box below of all the products I used, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.